RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
What the hell is up? Hello, everyone. What the hell is up with my camera? It's okay. That's just my face nowadays. Yeah, this is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. It is blurry behind me. It's the fucking camera. I don't know. Whatever. It's supposed to be fancy, I guess. Is that what it is? Yeah. I'll leave it. I don't want to start messing with shit. Yeah. Thank you for hanging out. I see. It was great, actually, when I just started the show and I saw the chat room start filling up, and you know what? I have to tell you guys, I love you. I absolutely love you. Can I love as many people in the chat room as I can? I can love you all. I really. Just let me take that second and thank you for being a part of this show and keeping me going and keeping the real liberal media, in the game. So thank you so much. And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get caught in my this loop of love when we have so many Republicans to talk about. Thank you, Winston. We love you back, Tara. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're in this together. So it makes all the difference that you're here and we're at the barricades together. So, all right, let's, and thank you, Ed, and thank you, Jonathan, and of course, Jim, with your super chat right out of the gate. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ed. Thank you so much, guys. And I know that there'll be more people joining us. But anyway, we have a lot to talk about, and yeah. That's why I try to do a show we need a bigger futon, right? Yes, that's lovely. Enough for all of us and the cats. And hello, Stephanie. Love you too. I see you there. I see you, girl. So, let's see. Well, if we generally have our show on Friday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m. Well, what am I saying? That's the old time. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in that vicinity. And the show is rebroadcast on Progressive Voices. We're also everywhere else you could imagine. The usual places, but also on some unusual places like rockfin.com. You have to be invited on there, so the show is there. And that's a good thing. And also on APS Radio News, which is our newest, I don't know if is it an affiliate? Is that what you call it? Well, we are being carried over on APS Radio News, and I'm very happy to be a part of the APS Radio News repertoire. So if you can, please support our sponsors, especially APS Radio News, because Charlie is a great guy, and yeah, that's what we need. We need to support each other. So thank you all for doing what I say. Just do what I ask. Don't think about it. Just do it. That's kind of that's a lot. In my daily life, I use that. Just don't think, do it, Like when I feel like going to the gym or don't feel like it, I try to say, just don't think about it and just do it. All right. Let's see. We have a lot to talk about. That's good. I'm sure I'll do some more plugs when I can figure it out. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, of course, Patreon, right? You got to if you can, become a patron. You know what I should do? I think there's a way, I know I keep getting emails about it from YouTube to make, I don't know, memberships on YouTube, like all these things I have to do that might help boost the show. Because if somebody doesn't want to become a patron, maybe they feel more comfortable doing a YouTube thing. I don't know. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Very nice with your super chat and your cute emoji. So I have to, thank you so much. That's what's going to keep us going and grow. I mean, these are the practical realities of what has to happen. And, what else? I feel like I'm forgetting something. That's why I'm kind of like thinking here. but let's see. This country, Jonathan says on the chat, this country is so divided. I wish you could stop arguing and be together. I agree. It's not about, is it arguing though? You see, how can we get together with people who think that you're not sharing the same realities? This is the problem. And the problem is, I've said it for years, we have the money and politics problem, which is also related, but it is the media. The media in this country is why we're so divided. And I feel like I've seen the Matrix. I took the red pill and I see the the people pulling the string. It's really, it really does come down to greed. And it's not, there's no pedophile ring in the basement of a pizzeria that doesn't have a basement. It's the same old. We've been battling for years, for decades, for millennia. It is money. The power of organized money, as FDR said, is just as dangerous as the power of organized mob. And they will, they own the media. So we went from over 50 media companies in the country to 6 transnational corporations that own everything. They own a cross-pollination of ownership, which was not allowed before the Telecommunications Act, before Clinton signed the Telecommunications Act. And so it's a matter of, it's not about getting together with people who think, we're a bunch of pedophiles when they're actually literally running pedophiles. The Republicans have no plan. And this is why, I named tonight's show, because thinking about the Senate election in Georgia, and they keep saying, well, what will the Republicans take from this loss? What are they going to take from it? They're going to take that they need to destroy democracy even more. That's what they learn. They don't learn that they need to appeal to, or maybe that, this effing divide and conquer strategy where they're, going after targeted minority groups. Maybe people are sick of that shit. That's a choice that the Republicans take all the time. They cannot win if the people are united, and they know this. And it really does all come down to money, because they need the working class of this country to be at each other's throats, especially along racial lines. And they will, just like Henry Wallace warned us. How do you recognize the American fascist? They, how did he put it? They exploit every fissure of disunity, every crack in the common front. And that's what that's the Republican Party, tickling the fissures of disunity, tickling people's racist funny bones, and spreading fear. They really don't. They have nothing to offer but fear. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. FDR famously said, well, the Republicans have nothing but fear. Be afraid. Someone's coming to get you. Someone's grooming your kids. They want us to be afraid of everything that, they don't want us to be afraid of the real things, like going bankrupt because we got a catastrophic medical diagnosis. That's something we should be afraid of. Joining one of the uniquely American medical bankruptcies, right? We shouldn't be afraid to go to the doctor when we're sick because we don't have, we might not be able to afford the bad news. Or, we shouldn't be afraid to send our children to school because they might be murdered in a uniquely American gun massacre. Right? I mean, these are the things that's the real fear. We shouldn't be afraid of getting old in this country, but we do. 1/3 of the American people can't retire. This is a disgrace, and the fact that the American life expectancy continues to fall is also a disgrace. But what do do they have any solutions for that? Except more bullshit. I mean, the fact that they ran Herschel Walker. Wait, hold on. We can lower that tonight, since we don't have the music cues to worry about, really. But the fact that they ran Herschel Walker as a candidate for the Senate, which is supposed to be this esteemed body, right? What does Senate mean? It means old man, right? The wise old men of the community. That's what the Senate's supposed to be. And they run this joke. What's the Telecommunications Jack? The Telecommunications Act, Jonathan. The 1996 Telecommunications Act, which deregulated the media. It was really the nail in the coffin of what Reagan had started with undoing the Fairness Doctrine. And then Clinton took it over the goal line by signing the Telecommunications Act, which really just destroyed the notion of media as one of the pillars of democracy. The media is one of the pillars of democracy, but it commodified the media like everything else, because the people used to understand that, and that's why there were laws prohibiting the cross ownership of media companies or media itself. So you couldn't own a newspaper and a radio station in the same market. You couldn't own a TV station and a radio station in the same market. That was done away with with the Telecommunications Act, which everybody at the time, everyone who wasn't a sold out moron or greed-centered ghoul understood that. Because I remember when, and we've talked about it before, and I guess this was probably before Jonathan, started watching the show, but when I was in college as an undergrad that's when the Telecommunications Act was signed, and I remember us discussing it, what a disaster it was going to be. So if you think that the undergrads in the City University of New York were aware of the dangers of democracy, if we could figure it out, that the people in the halls of power knew exactly what they were doing, and everything that we feared came to fruition. We said it was going to polarize the avenues of communication. It would, of course, drown out the voices of the little guys, and so yeah. And it would also, it was an assault on democracy. And it did, especially owning, being able to own different types of media, because that just reinforces, it's like, it's just like what every fascist regime does. What aided Hitler's rise to power? The taking over of the media. And that's what they did. That's how the Nazis started. They bought out a part of what they, partly how they started, of course, but how they got their message out there and normalized it through the newspapers. They bought a newspaper that was on its last legs, and they turned it into a Nazi rag. So, yeah, and that's the way it is with people. We are storytellers. We are communicators. We want to. It all begins with words. Everything. So that's why the whole thing with Elon Musk owning Twitter and saying that he hopes that if people on Twitter, it will avoid wars, it will avoid violence. It's so laughable. Either he's naive or he thinks we are. But I think it's the latter. A lot of the dummies who follow him are they're eager to eat whatever shit he drops on the floor, whatever bullshit and I don't know why. I don't know why about that. I really don't know why he's so lionized by these freaks. You know, I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. But that's because I'm not, I guess, an incel or some, I don't know. What is the appeal with him? The whole owning the libs thing, I guess. They love billionaires. We know that. And I suppose, I guess if I really have to think about this, I have to process this. Because I've done a lot of therapy, as you know. So let's see. Processing. Why do they love Elon Musk? It's because it really is because they feel inadequate in their own lives. They feel powerless, and they feel that the world continues to evolve without them. And so but Elon, because he shares many of their tiny world, their myopic, racist, right-wing, conspiracy-addled views, it validates, and he has a lot of power because he has money, and I guess that makes him somehow better than everybody in their eyes. You know, I see Elon Musk as a worthless billionaire. He's worthless, and he's the poster child for why there should be no billionaires. So, hey, settle down, Jonathan, on the chat. You know, you can't just spam the chat with question. You know what I'm saying? Nobody likes that. How do we get so much money into the Democratic National Committee, Tara? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. Whatever. Okay, thank you, Ed, for your super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. But anyway, okay, since we're talking about Elon Musk, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about tonight. One was, I wrote it down in my little thing here. That's what I do for myself. I write it down. So I know I have a tendency to go off track, so I try to write things down. So we kind of stay a little bit, have some structure. So, so let's talk about the nothing burger of this, the Twitter files. Have you heard of the Twitter files? Matt Taibbi's Twitter files. And it was, I didn't get the whole controversy of a political candidate, because Joe Biden was not the president at this time, asking a social media company to remove pictures, private photos of his naked son. Okay, Hunter Biden is an addict in recovery. We know about his addiction because he's written about it. And apparently, he says he's clean. I don't know. I'm in recovery myself, and one of the things we do is we don't count other people's clean time. So if he says he's clean, I gotta believe him. So, and also, if he's open about his addiction, whatever, what skin off their balls is it? But these people, I mean, there are plenty of right wingers who are addicted, of course. I mean, Rush Limbaugh got him. He couldn't even go out and buy his own drugs. He had to send his housekeeper. And he made himself deaf from opioid addiction. And what did he learn? He went to, of course, all the while, remember that all the while that he was sending his housekeeper out to buy drugs for him and gobbling up the Vicodin, whatever the hell, I think he was on OxyContin, who the hell knows, but he was calling for the death penalty for addicts and things like that. He's playing the shtick, playing the game, because no matter what, Republicans know that they will be untouchable. It's sort of like when they come after abortion. They love abortion. We know this, right? Because their policies create so many abortions. If Republicans were truly anti-abortion, if they wanted to reduce the numbers of abortion, they would attack the I guess that's the wrong word. They would promote policies that actually reduce the numbers of abortion. So, but to their, like healthcare, education, living wages, these are policies that we know reduce the numbers of abortion. All that criminalizing abortion does is it makes it unsafe, and it sends women to die in back alleys. So anyway, it's kind of like that. They know that their policies, they will never touch them, their precious, their beautiful selves. It will only affect the suckers, the dupes, the idiots, who aren't smart enough to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and marry a con man with a fake university, let's say, right? So if Rush Limbaugh, he knows if he's calling for the death penalty for drug addicts, that it would never apply to him. I mean, that's the irony. But it's also right out of Freud, right? With a Republican, it's either a confession or it's a projection, And that's how, you could tell they're evil minds, because they're constantly accusing other people of the very thing of which they are guilty. They're the ones out there that talking about, oh, this is a false flag, that's a false, but they're the ones committing these false flag events, because that's how they think. Like the proud pricks during the George Floyd protests, pretending to be liberals, saying justice for George Floyd, and then shooting up a police station. Things like that, or breaking the windows. The umbrella man, to try to turn public sentiment against the Black Lives Matter movement. And that's what they needed to do. This is, people turn on the TV and they were like, no, we don't like seeing cops snuff out somebody's life on the street, but with a knee on someone's neck. And that was very threatening to Republicans, because, it wasn't just Black Lives Matter movement, wasn't just people with darker pigment, it was all pigment. So that's very threatening. So they had to turn the average Joe sitting at home watching, they'd had to, turn them against the Black Lives Matter by turning it into a mob. You're saying not 99.9% of the Black Lives Matter protests were peaceful. But if you interview a Republican an average moron, they think there are cities still smoldering and burned to the ground, and that never happened. Of course, it never. That's where they were like, oh, January 6th. What about this? The smoldering ruin of Seattle or Portland or whatever. And it's only in their minds. These are people that haven't gone out of their radius of 50 miles from their homes. They go on the internet. They go on this window to the world, and what do? They fall into the black pit of a Q hole. So they're not using the internet machine as a window to broaden their horizons. That's what always fascinates me about them too, because they're so small. And that's why they like Elon Musk, frankly, because he is very small. He's a very small person, like them. And it really is emblematic of why we don't need billionaires. We don't need these fuckers. There's no reason for it. The only reason somebody's a billionaire is because there's tax. They've been taxed, and you get up to a certain rate, then you don't pay taxes. People who are lower on the ladder pay a higher percentage of their income, because these people don't have income. They have investments and capital gains and things like that, which are taxed at a different rate and at a lower rate. So there's the system is set up for the super rich to not just maintain, but to balloon their wealth into what, Teddy Roosevelt called it the bloated fortunes, and and followed it up by the bloated fortune just by its mere just because it is a threat. I'm trying, now I'm paraphrasing, but he said that's why progressive taxation is the only way. It's the only American value, because we can't, and also, he was an advocate for the estate tax, because you don't want it, you didn't want an aristocracy developing, because you'll get, look at what happened with Rome, right? You went from Augustus to Nero in how many years? In a few short generations. So, this is what happens, and then the people are you have to suffer under. Oh, do we have a good king or a bad king? Do we have a king who cares, or do we have a fucking sociopath? All right, it just gets worse and worse, and that's Elon Musk. He is a sociopath. There's something wrong. There's always something wrong with right-wingers. There really is. That's why they're attracted to that ideology. The ideology of division, of the other. There's many reasons, too. It's also they hate themselves. A lot of them are in the closet in some form or another. That's why they're always like, anti-gay, anything that is different. So, and they want you to be just as anti whatever they are. Well, why are you just so fucking anti-human? As we've played the clips coming right out of their mouths, the statements about how they hate diversity. Just like Nick Fuentes says, he hates diversity. He's a friggin' Nazi. Now, of course, when we had our millennial correspondent on the show the other day, Mark Middlestaedt from Shaping Progress, and we were talking about Nick Fuentes, and, Nick Fuentes says he's an avowed incel, like he's a proud incel. But, I think there's something wrong with him. You see, he hates himself. He must be. I don't know. Of course, I'm speculating, but he's gay. Probably, he hates himself because, for whatever reason, I don't know his whole story. I don't know his family background, what happened to him, who his parents are. But could you imagine that's your son? You can't, if you give birth to somebody and he turns out to be like a Nick Fuentes, you failed. You failed. Okay? You did. And especially if you're not out there with your mea culpas about it, saying, I don't know what happened to him. I'm sorry. I did my best, but there is something broken in this person. Some people are just broken people. And they add nothing to society. You know, like a Ted Bundy or something, you know? That somebody like him who apparently no one, had a decent family, parents and siblings who loved him, had every opportunity, but was a murderous piece of shit. And probably, I'm generally against the death penalty, but I am for it. I have to say, I am for the death penalty for serial killers because there's nothing you can do with them. They are, they're broken. Anyone who is turned on by murder probably should be taken out of taken out of civilization in general. I don't know. What do you think about that? Is that is that controversial? No. I mean, I believe that the as a civilization, we should strive to bring out the best in each other. That's why I'm generally against the death penalty. But like a Ted Bundy, is that hypocritical? I think it's just realism. Some people are just fucking broken. If you're broken in that way, I mean, you could be broken in many ways. But if you're broken in a way that you want to kidnap people, or that you go into where they're sleeping and beat them over the head with a log, I mean, bye. See ya. So, okay. That's fucked up, right? So, why do I bring that up? I don't know. It's just, this is Tarabuster. We go all over the world here. And I told you guys, I started watching that Ted Bundy documentary. It really stuck with me, obviously. It really did. It made me it weirded me out a lot. I watched this Ted Bundy documentary, and then then it kept, recommending other serial killer document. It just made me very weird. When I would go to the supermarket, I'd be like, is that guy a serial killer? You just never know. But I also read in serial killer news that one interesting thing, this is why, a couple of things, just as an aside, as far as serial killers are concerned, that the FBI, one of the, Candace DeLong, who is an FBI profiler, or was, and she's well known because she does a lot of TV. And they say that Clarice Starling was based on her or something, from Silence of the Lambs. I can't talk. But she says, I'm just telling you guys, that the number one advice she has is to always lock your doors, no matter where you live. Because you don't know, there are freaks out there. Like one serial killer that she dealt with went around checking people's doors and he thought, because he was in psychosis, and he thought that when he found an unlocked door, that meant that he was supposed to kill that person. So, okay. So just lock your doors, guys. We need all of you. And what was the other thing I was saying? I don't know. Something about... Oh, yeah. I just went down this. It was just weird. There's a lot of weird people. I understand that. But they are the aberration. They are the outliers. Most people, I believe, are decent, or at least trying to be. And that's why it's political malpractice for the Republicans. And this is another reason I can't take them. I can't stand them, because they commit political malpractice against the people they pretend to represent by constantly filling them up with fear. Not about things they should fear, but about things that are total bullshit. Right? They tell them things like the election was stolen, right? That their vote doesn't count, that maybe we should suspend the Constitution. Not just maybe. Trump said he wants to suspend the Constitution, and that alone isn't enough for them to abandon Trump. You understand? Because they even asked some of these freaks, is that the line? Is it? It's not the classified documents, more of which were found in the last day or two. You know, he's hiding them now in storage facilities. For what reason? Because he's a traitor, and everything is transactional. Like his niece, Mary Trump, says that there's only one reason he would hold on to classified documents. It's because he needs it for some financial purpose, for either leverage or something, some way to get money. And 100%, 100%. And thank you, Richard, for your super chat. Another great show. Did I say thank you, Ed? Yes, I think so. I hope so. Well, I'm saying thank you again, Ed. And thank you, Diffuse OG, for your super chat. It means a lot. And it means a lot that you guys are here. It really does. Yes. Oh, those, the classified documents were found today. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Play Dave, on the chat. What the fuck is what is he doing with classified documents in a storage facility? He's clearly, when I mean, he's hiding them, but we know that already. Whoever the whistleblower is that alerted the FBI that he was moving them around, he knew. You know, he only gave. This is what a crook does. This is what a fucking crook does. He's a crook. We know this. His friggin' company just got what do you call it? They just won not convictions. It was, how do you say it? You know, 17. They were found guilty of 17 charges. It's a criminal enterprise. That's what the Trump organization is. It's not, he's never been an actual businessman. We know this. This is what what gets me so insane about Republicans. His only claim to whatever, his resume for being a president is that he's a successful businessman. And he's not. He's everything is a fraud. From his origin story to his selling point, that he's a successful businessman. He played a successful businessman on reality television, you dummies. But he's not a successful businessman. And I don't get the whole putting the name. You know, he rented out his name to be slapped on the sides of buildings, and here in New York, all those names came down wherever they could. I don't know, why would you want to put that tacky name on your building? You should be embarrassed, right? So there were different apartment buildings, co-ops that had Trump on it, and they all got rid of them, except, of course, you know, you have the Trump Roach motels on the Trump's Plaza, the Trump, you know, whatever, the Trump shit show motel. It's tacky, yucky, bottom-feeding hotels, and they're just bribe magnets. That's what, I mean, the other thing, it's like, Mary Trump said something, because I saw her on MSNBC earlier, and she was saying that everything is everything is transactional with him, and the she didn't say this, but she was saying how the crimes are so and what's the word, endemic. They're just the crimes. It's just a crime upon crime. He's constantly criming, and so it's almost overwhelming. It's one crime after another. It's like, slow down with the crimes, please. I'm still on crime 99.9. Can you give me a minute, bitch, to breathe with these crimes? I've got to catch up to the crimes. It's like one crime after another. You say, any one of these crimes, could you imagine if any one of these crimes were committed by a Democrat? We'd never hear the friggin' end of it. If any of these crimes, let's say a Democrat owned a tacky hotel in Washington, and the Saudis came, but one guy came, maybe 2, 3, whatever, how many guys come, but they all of a sudden the rooms for the evening go from 1,000 a night to 5,000 a night. And not only do they take the number of rooms that they need for the people, 5 rooms, 6 rooms, they take out floors of rooms. That's a fucking bribe, people. We're not dumb. And what is so disgusting about Trump is he's a horrible person, and that they claim this love of Jesus so much. That is what's really offensive. And I know some people who are actual Christians, and if you're an actual Christian, you should be offended by, and they are. Actual Christians are offended by this rapacious need for money, greed, everything of this world, right? The Jesus you pretend to worship told you to give everything to the poor and follow him. And what does Trump do? He's nothing but, more and more and more, he's nothing but a black hole of narcissism, sucking up the narcissistic supply of his dupes, which is the worship. And, money, just greed, nonstop greed that will never end. It's never enough. And that's another thing with Elon Musk. Like, what is it with this fucking dude? What happened to going to Mars? Right? Oh, no. Let's save the world by allowing Nazis back on Twitter. Okay? So, what was I talking about with this nothing burger? It's such an embarrassment. But all over Twitter, and then the Republicans are like, some of the Republicans, others are just like, other Republicans do admit that it is a nothing burger, because what's the big scandal? Right? The scandal is supposed to be that the Democrats asked Twitter before, the supervillain, worthless billionaire, narcissistic man-child Musk took it over, because he's got nothing better to do, right? I guess fuck Mars, but he's got to fuck Earth before he fucks Mars, I guess. But so he wait, hold on, I lost my place. He said it's going to be epic. He's going to release these Twitter files which will blow the lid off of the corruption. And that's why Trump tweeted, or whatever he did on his so-called, his sham social media site, that we should suspend the Constitution because Twitter took down pictures of Hunter Biden's dick. Okay? That's what happened. I've seen these photos myself because some of these articles linked to them from the Wayback Machine. They were scrubbed from Twitter. It's Hunter Biden fucking a lady. Okay? It's Hunter Biden naked. And, it just looks like Hunter Biden taking some sexy photos while he's screwing some broad. And that's what, I mean, frankly, clearly it shows a lack of judgment. I don't know why he would take photos like that. Because, it's never going to be private. So, but it's also but whatever, that's beside the point. He was on drugs, okay? He wasn't in his right mind. And who cares? Whatever. You're talking about a dude, they love this fucking dude that banged a porn star badly. That's what Stormy said, right? Underwhelming. That's how she described it. The whole experience, extremely... with his smaller than average, whatever that is, and said it was very underwhelming. Of course it was. What else would it be? He's just masturbating into a porn star. That's what it is. It's not about, true human connection. Really. While his wife is home recovering, his third trophy wife is home recovering from childbirth. And these people are upset that Hunter Biden is having sex. They all have issues, the Republicans. Of course, Elon Musk, because he's a dirtbag, allowed Roger Stone back on Twitter today. He's Roger Stone, the traitor, one of the insurrectionists. But, of course, he also has a very saucy private sex life. I'm not sure if you are aware. He's a swinger. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he's, that's his own business. Whatever, who cares? I wouldn't object to if for some reason somebody had naked pictures of him. What's the, why would you want to see that? Yeah, of course. Take them off social media. It's ridiculous. So that's the Twitter files, guys. That's what they're so upset about. They think they have a constitutional right to post pictures of Hunter Biden's dick. And because they weren't allowed to do that, the election must be stolen and the Constitution must be suspended. See how disgusting these people are? That's why they lose elections and they don't learn. They never learned. Remember when they lost back in whenever that was, when George W. Bush was president? They got trounced in the midterms and they did an autopsy. I always remember, because I remember saying, don't you do autopsies on dead things? So it's kind of fitting. And they did an autopsy of why they lost again. And of course, here's the other thing. We would not have lost the House if not for gerrymandering either. You understand that? That's why the Republicans are trying to screw elections with this. The Supreme Court now has another thing that they're trying to inject the Republican, conservative, fascist, anti-democratic, anti-American agenda. They're trying to ram that down our throats with the veneer of legitimacy, with this, what do they call it? Independent state legislature theory. Fuck you. Okay, we'll get to that. But, yeah, They think they have a constitutional right to post pictures of Hunter Biden's dick. Where is this article? Let's see. I wanted to, because it explained it well. And it's very embarrassing for Matt Taibbi. It is a joke. I didn't understand when I was reading this. I read all through his Twitter feed. That's what Matt Taibbi did. He announced it all. These will be the Twitter files part 1. And it was, and I was like, okay, where are we going with this? What are we getting to? And then there were the links to the things that were removed. And then even Elon Musk chimed in on it, saying, like, this is, boom, boom, ba-boom, or something, you know. And I was like, what? Am I missing something here? Because it doesn't really seem very, it seems like a nothing burger. And I hate that word only because Republicans always use it. That's why I'm using it. But so, okay, here's from the Bulwark. Excuse me if I didn't pronounce it correctly. Tim Miller writes, while normal humans who denied Republicans their red wave were enjoying an epic sports weekend, which I am a normal human, but I don't care about sports. I'm sorry. An insular community of MAGA activists and online contrarians led by the world's richest man for now were getting riled up about a cache of leaked emails revealing that the former actor James Woods and Chinese troll accounts were not allowed to post ill-gotten photos of Hunter Biden's hog on a private company's microblogging platform around 25 months ago. Now, if you're one of the normals, someone who would never think about posting another person's penis on your social media account, has no desire to see politicians' kids' penises when scrolling on social media, and doesn't understand why there are other people out there who care one way or another about the moderation policy surrounding stolen penis photos, or can't even figure out what it is that I'm talking about, then this might seem like a gratuitous matter for an article. Sadly, it is not, because among Republican members of Congress, leading conservative media commentators, contrarian substackers, conservative tech bros, and friends of Donald Trump, the ability to post Hunter Biden's cock shots on Twitter is the number one issue in America this weekend. They believe that if they are not allowed to post porno, our constitutional republic may be in jeopardy. I truly wish I were joking. And here's a synopsis for the blessedly uninitiated. On Friday, Elon Musk promised to reveal what really happened with the Hunter Biden story suppression by Twitter. It turns out that he had provided a trove of internal corporate documents to the Tulsi Gabbard of Substack, Matt Taibbi, who said they amounted to a unique and explosive story. This is why you never hype shit up, like overhype it. You should under-promise and over-deliver. That's like the rule, right? You should. At least that's what you try to do. Revealing the juicy details inside Twitter's decision to suppress the New York Post's Hunter Biden laptop story, which had previously been rejected by such liberal outlets like Fox News and the Wall Street Journal due to its suspicious provenance. Taibbi agreed to divulge these private emails on Twitter itself rather than via his Substack as part of a, quote, few conditions, which he doesn't detail, that were imposed on him, presumably by Musk. So, the documents Taibbi tweeted on Friday were titillating in the way that reading private correspondence revealing what people were really saying around a controversial subject always is. But nothing new was learned about the contours of the story. The leak mostly relitigates two facts that have already received much ink across the media. One, how Twitter throttled the New York Post's initial story about Hunter Biden's laptop based on what we now know was an incorrect assessment of its source. And two, how political campaigns and government agencies have worked with social media companies, in this case Twitter, to flag troubling content. On the first point, the emails confirm the essential consensus that has come into focus in reporting on this matter. Twitter got out over its skis on the ban, and a typical corporate bureaucratic goat rope ensued as the company tried to unfuck the situation, as one employee put it. To say that this is not a new revelation would be an understatement, given that Twitter's former CEO, Jack Dorsey, admitted that it was a mistake over a year ago. As such, it was the latter point that drove the most hysterical discussion online. The most retweeted installment of the Taibbi thread was this, which purported to show the Biden campaign, here I'll show you, directing Twitter to delete specific tweets. And here it is, right? These are the offending tweets. And we'll go through them. I'll show you. Let's see. Let me, okay. I thought I can make this bigger for you guys, but it's not letting me. Okay. This supposed smoking gun resulted in Musk responding to his own journalistic stenographer. I can't talk. But these two words are hard. His own journalistic stenographer on Twitter with a fire emoji and the comment, "If this isn't a violation of the Constitution's First Amendment, what is?" Wait till you see the pictures, okay? Musk was so impressed with this digital citizen's arrest that he made it his pinned tweet. After which the MAGA attaboys for Muskie came out hot and heavy. Right-wing commentator Buck Sexton, his real name, said that this was the bright red line violation and that Biden should be impeached for it. Representative James Comer was on Fox promising that everyone on Twitter involved in this would be brought before the House Oversight Committee. I hope they are. Please do. Please, you clowns. You goddamn clowns. Please bring this to a committee. Because we want to laugh in your faces. Make a big deal. It's like, what is it? I have to ask. It reminded me of Ken Starr. You know how disgusting the Republicans are. We know, and you know how Beer Bong Brett, I like beer, was involved with the Clinton Monica Lewinsky scandal, and he was partly responsible for all the salacious elements in the Starr report, right? Which was another fucking nothing burger. But one of Kavanaugh's advice because when he was just a young little cuss like Nick Fuentes, a more presentable Nick Fuentes where they keep the Nazi views to a dog whistle. But he was the one that pushed for all the details. They didn't have to. You didn't have to know or read the Starr report to like you were reading this. He wanted it to sound like you were reading a letter to Penthouse. That's what the Republicans did. And they described Bill Clinton's penis. They wanted to see Bill Clinton's penis. You know, they couldn't just say that he had sex with, or whatever they did with Monica Lewinsky. They made it into a, something they can jerk off to. And I'm sure they did, because they are sick. And they sully everything they touch. They devalue it. They disgrace it. They denigrate it. Oh, and you could say, oh, well, what did Bill Clinton do denigrating and having sex in the White House? Well, he wouldn't be the first and he wouldn't be the last married man to have an affair, especially at work. But, he balanced the budget, right? He left Bush with a nice surplus while getting a blowjob. So, I don't know. It doesn't seem to really matter. There used to be, what president, let me ask you, didn't have an affair? Not that whatever. That's between him and his wife, frankly. I don't give a shit what Bill Clinton's penis looked like. I was more concerned about his don't ask, don't tell policy, or him signing the Telecommunications Act. Well, while he tried with all the new Democrat fervor to become Republican light. That's what I was concerned about. But the Republicans, they want to see. I have to say, it really is kind of along the timeline of how we get from Ronald Reagan, the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are "I'm from the government and I'm here to help," to the traitors on January 6th defecating in the Capitol. It's all this wouldn't happen overnight. You couldn't defecate in the Capitol halls, not in the restrooms. That's where you're supposed to defecate. That's why I constantly remind the traitors, any of these conservatives who contact me, please don't defecate in the halls of the Capitol again. Use the restroom. But, that's what normal people do. But along the path from Reagan to defecating in the Capitol is the Starr Report, where what they were trying to do is turn the people against the government, against their representatives, to denigrate and disparage people, that the majority of Americans voted for. Everything, it really is an insult. They are an insult to the institutions. They take an oath to the Constitution, but everything about them, obviously they hate the Constitution too. It's right out in the open again. But everything that they want, it really, see, you don't behave like this. You don't treat your, if you have respect for the system, you wouldn't behave like that. You wouldn't want to turn the American people against their government in such a disgusting way by talking about details of someone's sexual encounter. I don't see what that has to do with anything. And it never did have to do with anything. I see, you guys know I watch Morning Joe, and, much to my, I don't know why, whatever. It's a habit. And I guess it's sort of like, I watch it with a critical eye, but Joe Scarborough was in the House of Representatives when the whole Clinton impeachment happened, and he brings it up. Not all the time, but he's brought it up numerous times, and it could be especially when Trump was being impeached several times for actual crimes, right? What was Trump impeached for? He was impeached for the first time for using taxpayer money, which he doesn't have any control over. You see, that's why the founders gave the Congress the control of the purse string. So the executive branch, like the king, couldn't just declare war or something like that. Or I know now things are different, right? But so this was money already allocated for Ukraine to fight the impending invasion of their sovereign democratic nation, their fledgling democratic nation. And Trump took our taxpayer money, which, everything belongs to him, and he used it he held it as a bribe, not a bribe. Well, he used it to pressure another foreign leader that was depending on this aid to announce an investigation on his political rival. So Biden hadn't announced yet, but it was looking like he would be up against Biden. So I want you to do me a favor, though, and that's why Lieutenant, who's the guy? The guy who had to retire, who was in the officer who was listening, because, we live in a constitutional, democratically, constitutionally limited democratic republic. And when the so-called president is on the phone with a foreign leader, he's not just chatting away. But that's another thing that Trump did. He held phone calls with foreign leaders outside of anyone knowing, which is a big no-no. And so the person who was monitoring his phone call was like, holy shit, I need to report this because this fucking guy is committing a crime right here using taxpayer money to strong arm a foreign leader into announcing an investigation. So that was the first thing he was impeached for. But of course, the Republicans let him slide because they hate America and they're crooks, and that's their guy, right? It's about power. It's not about representing the people or the country or promoting democracy or it's not about any of those things anymore for the conservatives. It's about getting the power. But because they have a problem, the Republicans, and it is that they live in a country that has a constitution that promotes the general welfare. It's a democracy. The fledgling country. It's less than 250 years old, so it's a very young country, and it sticks in their craw, the Republicans. How can they make a buck unless they can corrupt government? Everything that they stand for is power in the hands of a few, or the power to lord over the many who compliantly await their rewards in heaven, right? And that's the real problem, is that that's the kind of country they were born into. So they have to play within those rules, so they have to, for many years, the Republicans had to give lip service to democracy. They have to pretend, that that's why they, wave the flag and wear all the shirts with the stars, and they're all like, singing off-key renditions of America the Beautiful with a tear flowing and stuff, because they want it's like a straight guy. I mean, it's like a closeted gay guy being all like, hey, she's hot, so that's the way they are with America. They just hate America through and through. They really do. That's why, they hate the nation of immigrants. They hate the diversity. They hate that. They hate that we are a democracy, a democratic republic. That's why they're always like, we're a republic, we're not a democracy. Well, we democratically elect our representatives, so we're a democratic republic, blah, 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 whatever. And so that's their problem. So, and what was the second time? Yeah, so he was impeached the second time for January 6th, for inciting an insurrection. And again, the Republicans let him slide. So what was I saying? Yeah, so on Morning Joe, they bring up the impeachment of Bill Clinton. He brings it up saying when he was impeached for what did they get him? Obstructing justice or something. And no, they impeached him for a blowjob, right? And the excuse was obstructing justice. They wanted to impeach him. They wanted to impeach any Democrat. He just gave them an opportunity. Stupidly, of course. But what do you expect? He's a man, right? So, but because it was revenge for Nixon. You see, this is how they think. You impeach Nixon. So we impeach these fuckers, actual patriots, impeach these fuckers who are needing to be impeached. They deserved it. It's not a blowjob blown out of proportion, and where you say, oh, it's not about the blowjob. It's about the obstruction. Or I remember these freaks all marching over with their papers, impeachment, saying rule of law. Rule of law. Yeah, because that's what they're all about, the rule of law, guys. Don't you know? Can't you tell? By the way, they allow their own, if they have an R after their name, they allow them to get, oh my God, the leash, the long leash, the latitude. You see? They're allowed to fucking be a traitor who says, we need to suspend the Constitution because we can't post pictures of a politician's son's dick. Do you see what we're up against? Am I making sense here? Rule of law. We accept you. We accept you. Google goggle. Google goggle. You know where that's from? Freaks. The classic. The 19-something, 39-something classic Freaks. They should remake it with the right-wingers. And they're all, rule of law, instead of, we accept you, we accept you. But that's also like them too, right? You got to be one of them. How are you one of them? Just got to be, well, don't be a rugged individual, that's for sure. Don't be somebody different. Don't be yourself. Be like everybody else. And then, we accept you. We accept you. Google goggle. Google goggle. All right. Is everybody okay? Google goggle. Google goggle. Yep. All right. How do we get on this? This is Tarabuster. This is what you expect. It's what happens on Tarabuster every day. Where I lost my place. Where's the article I was reading? It's a good one. And we will look at the pictures, so where I'm just, what the fuck? Okay, here it is. Oh, yeah. You could see it. I couldn't see it. It was on, you could see it on the eCam, but it was hidden behind a whole other bunch of windows for me. So. All right. Here we go. The supposed smoking gun resulted in... Here. Okay, I read this already, but it was like a 1,000 years ago. So this supposed smoking gun resulted in Musk responding to his own journalistic stenographer on Twitter with a fire emoji in the comment, "If this isn't a violation of the Constitution's First Amendment, what is?" See, that's another thing. I'm sorry, I will never get through this article. Like, what the fuck? The Constitution where do you, I mean, a private company taking down people's racist, misogynist, transphobic, homophobic, anti-Semitic, hateful comments or porn is a violation of the First Amendment? There's no, I'm sorry, there's no, hey, this is a violation of the First Amendment. Because you still have the right to be a Nazi, to be an ugly, disgusting person that wants to see someone's dick pic or whatever. So the violation of, it's not a violation of the First Amendment. A private company doesn't have to post your vomit. It's not, I mean, even the government wouldn't have to post your vomit. The government doesn't have to post your lies, your filth. Like, what's the violation? Go into the town square and scream get a soapbox, stand on it, and scream, "I want to see Hunter Biden's dick pics." Okay? Yeah, it's not a violation of the First Amendment for Twitter or for any social media company to not want to be a purveyor of porn. Or lies, right? Or misinformation about anything. Or health misinformation that's this is a violation of the First Amendment. I don't get these people. It's too simple to see, but they refuse to. That's what it's about. They refuse to see because that would require them actually evolving some way. It would require them growing up and looking at themselves and maturing to the point where they understand where they have the level of maturity required to function in a democracy. So, okay. Musk was so impressed with this digital citizen's arrest that he made it his pinned tweet, after which the MAGA attaboys for Muskie came out hot and heavy. Right-wing commentator Bill Sexton, his real name, said that this was a bright red line violation and that Biden should be impeached. And Representative James Comer, Republican of Tennessee, was on Fox promising that everyone on Twitter would be brought before the House Oversight Committee. Because they got nothing else, you see. There's no, what's the plan for inflation? Here's Hunter Biden's dick. That's what they do. What's the plan for gas prices? I wonder if those little stickers are still on the gas pumps. Thanks, Biden. Now that the gas is down to lower levels than it was, years ago. Thanks, Biden. They're so oh my God. We knew that one wouldn't have legs, right? I mean, that's how dumb they are. Thank you, Biden. Thanks, Biden, for this $35 insulin. Thanks. Oh, God. Okay. Representative Billy Long retweeted several MAGA influences praising Elon for, among other things, besides Hunter Biden's dick, exposing corruption at the highest levels of society. Projection alert. Let me see, what's this link? Oh yes, projection is the sincerest form of Trumpism. They believe this is good. Yeah, exactly what I was saying. They believe that everyone must be as craven and corrupt as they are. That's it. That is it. It's so true. It's like we were saying with the false flags and such. This is because they have that's how they think. They think like that. We're knocking on doors. We're organizing phone bank parties and trying to get out the vote. Right? What are they doing? They're finding... they're shopping around the country for what do you call it? Plaintiffs in their sham lawsuits to get them to the Supreme Court so they can overturn the will of the people, if not through the election that they will lose, but by the corrupted court. The right-wingers the illegitimate right-wingers they shoved into the Supreme Court. That's the Hail Mary, which is why, this is what has to happen. We must get the House back, retain the Senate, retain the presidency, and... among others things, of course, which one is money in politics, but nobody's even talking about that. But we must nullify this illegitimate Supreme Court. Because it is. So I hope you're listening, Democrats. Every time you get in front of a camera and you talk about these disgraceful excuses for justices, you put the qualifier in front. The illegitimate Gorsuch, the illegitimate Justice I Like Beer, the illegitimate Justice Handmaid Barrett. All right? That's how you got to do it. This illegitimate Supreme Court, corrupted through dirty tricks. That's it. That's the only reason they have a majority installed by a twice impeached threat to this democracy, a treasonous autocrat envying con man who likes to steal classified documents, who's lying to the American people and wants to suspend the Constitution. They all want to suspend the Constitution. That's that's saying the quiet part out loud. They all want to suspend the Constitution. They hate the Constitution. It restrains them. They can't just make you a goddamn serf in the field outright. They got to play the game. It's so exhausting for them. That's why they don't want to knock on doors. That takes too much energy to go convince the dumb people that they hate, that they have no respect for. No one hates the Trumpanzee more than Trump. You understand that, right? He hates them. He has no respect for them. He uses them like a parasite uses a host. That's it. And discards once the carcass is sucked dry and dead. He just gets fat and bloated on their whatever, everything. He lies to them. He has no respect for them. He never did a fucking thing for them. What has he done? What has he done? He's the greatest president. I hear this from them. It's so baffling to me. He's the best. Why? What has he done? What did he ever do? The only thing he did was try to take your health care away. and try to what? All he did was nothing. Give more money to the rich. He gave the rich more of your hard-earned money. He fucked you. And he didn't even kiss you first. No dinner. Well, he did talk a lot of bullshit in your ear. He whispered a lot of sweet nothings in your ear before he fucked you. All about how it's going to be the greatest, the best. I tell you, dear. I tell you, honey. It's going to be I'm going to get you the best health care. It's going to be free. Everybody's going to be covered. And it won't cost anything. He even said that. And I was like, hey, all for it. Universal health care. You want to be a hero? He could have done that. I would have went along. Good. At least he did that. But no, he would never do that. Because that would mean he might lose some money from those big, the United Healthcare lobby. Oh, God help. Yeah, but that's what one of his promises. He ran as Bernie Sanders and plus racism. So that's how I know. They're the maggots, the underlying motivator in all maggots is racism. It is. Because if it wasn't, they would have. Because that's the thing. Because Republicans know that the people want, they want the general welfare. They want to promote. They want the general welfare to be promoted. They like democratic policy. They like socialism. They do. But that's why they have to sell it to them like it's scary, and and that means you have to share with brown people, and you don't want to do that because they're monsters, they're rioting, and they hate you, and right? Yeah. Where was I? Representative Billy Long retweeted several MAGA influencers praising Elon for, among other things, exposing corruption at the highest levels of society. Projection alert. Meanwhile, Carrie Lake, hype man, Pizzagate, Jack Prozobiak, sorry, I know I murdered that, declared that this is the biggest story in modern presidential election history, and claimed that we can never go back to the country we were before this moment. No, I hear you. I won't go back to the time before I saw Hunter Biden's dick. I feel changed. In reality, all they really had was a digital erection. The offending material that Taibbi revealed was removed by Twitter at the Biden campaign's request turns out to be a bunch of links of Hunter Biden in the buff. So let's see. Shall we show them? Might get banned on something. Yeah, so this guy writes, I checked the first of these links archived by the Wayback Machine, and it features pornography and a picture of the Biden family. Let's see if it opens. It opened when I saw it originally. Maybe they took it down. Oh, yeah, the second features a video that the Wayback Machine cannot play. The third is a picture of Hunter Biden's penis. Yeah, there it is. Well, you could see it's small. I'm not going to blow it up. It's like him having sex. It's a naked lady's ass and butt and other parts. It's him in a mirror with an erection. And some pictures of the Biden family. This is the offending material. You see, it's pornography. It's just, you don't need to see that. That's what they're talking about, guys. Those are the links. There was a tweet from a Chinese account featuring a naked woman on top of Hunter Biden, as well as a family photo. 2 pictures of Hunter Biden's penis, one with another woman in the background. Taibbi's next list of material was removed by Twitter after being flagged by the Democratic National Committee. They include a picture of Hunter Biden smoking crack and getting his feet rubbed, and a link to a Hunter Biden sex tape. And that's the big hubbub. Social media companies removes unwanted dick pics. News at 11. As someone who once consulted for social media companies on content moderation issues, let me tell you, the amount of eggplant-related terms of service violations that these platforms review in a given year is so voluminous that we have not yet invented an artificial intelligence machine capable of counting them. Yet Taibbi and Musk are trying to turn this mundane moderation matter into the story of the century by emphasizing a few misconceptions about how platforms work with political campaigns and what the First Amendment obligations they do or do not have. To debunk a few of them. 1. Campaigns of all ideological stripes have direct lines into social media companies and make requests about offending content. There's nothing at all strange about what is shown in these emails. If Jeb Bush's kids Grundle was posted by a Chinese troll, we would surely have flagged it for the company in the hopes that they would delete it. And I suspect their internal correspondence on the matter would be identical. This would not have been deemed or been a demand or a dictate from the campaign, mind you. Companies can do what they want. In this specific instance, the request came from a campaign that has absolutely no government authority at all. At the time of the correspondence in question, Joe Biden was a private citizen running for office, while Donald Trump was the president. Taibbi acknowledges that Trump's White House made requests that were received and honored, and that there's no evidence that I've seen of any government involvement in the laptop story. So, if there are any First Amendment issues at play, and I don't believe there are, since neither Musk nor Taibbi have demonstrated that the government made any mandates on Twitter, they would, in this case, only relate to the material that Trump wanted removed. You get it? Because he was not the president. He was a private citizen running for office. And so it's not the government wanting things removed. It's Joe fucking Biden, dude, running for president. When Trump in office, squatting and staining the White House with his disgustingness, was reaching out to Twitter and doing the same thing, asking, remove this, remove that. And they did. So that's government interference. And, it's like Republicans, we know that Republicans, or I can go on Twitter or on YouTube right now, there's a video of a guy blaming Obama for 9/11. Where was Obama on 9/11? On September 11, 2001. So these are people who think they're just not that swift. So why MAGA Republicans and Elon Musk are so adamant that people be able to post photos of Hunter Biden's Johnson is something that should probably be explored with their respective preachers or psychiatrists, but is certainly not a matter for constitutional scholars or litigators. While Mr. Libson from the Virgin Suicides may derive a depraved type of happiness from publishing pictures of other people's genitals on a private company's public bulletin board without the approval of those pictured, the First Amendment does not bestow upon him the right to prevent a company from taking down the offending material. To sum it up, let's sum up what we've learned. Big penis, little news, First Amendment not under threat. Musk and Taibbi have promised more editions of the Twitter files in the coming days. Maybe next time they won't come up so limp. Well, good turns of phrase right there. But that's what it's all about. Nothing. And another waste of our time. You understand? That's what the Republicans have. What do they have? They got nothing. They have to, it's like they understand. This is what it seems. So they post these links saying, oh, this is what was removed. When a private citizen running for president asked Twitter to please remove what's in these links. And that's the major violation of the First Amendment. Why we must suspend the Constitution to these people. And I guess I don't know why they thought that we wouldn't go to those links, or we could never find what was in those links. Thank goodness other people did. But it's like the way they post headlines that are deceptive. And then when you read the story, you realize that it's the opposite of what they're talking about, or they have an agenda. We've seen it all the time. I'm trying to think of an example. I can't. But I remember, a specific example. I remember we were talking about one time this headline that said it was so deceptive, and then when we went through the article, when it was another nothing that they turned into something, that because they knew that most people who were scrolling would just see the headline, and the way they frame it is very disingenuous. So I guess they thought that many people would just see the links, and because they've been removed, they wouldn't be able to go and find the content that was actually removed. So they would be like, "Oh, I told you," but now that we were able to find it, so fuck off with this bullshit. Okay? P.S. And keep fucking off. It's unreal. Where's everybody? What's going on? Hold on. What are you talking about? Anyway, I have other things. What were we talking about? There's another thing. Here's another thing I wanted to talk about in our gathering tonight. The other thing, Warnock won in Georgia, thankfully, but it's like, this guy's won 4 times in 2 years. Am I wrong? How many times are you going to fucking win in a life? That's the way it is with Republicans. Democrats have to continue to win again and again. You have to just keep on winning again and again and again. So much winning. I'm sick of it. So let's see, a couple of things. Oh, I hate this. Yeah, we would talk about the Supreme Court. There's a few things. I don't even know where to begin. Well, we saw that Sean Spicer. What a dick. And speaking of dicks, Sean Spicer today tweeted, I don't know if you missed that, "Today is D-Day. It only lives in infamy if we remember and share the story of sacrifice with the next generation. Hashtag D-Day. It's not D-Day, douchebag. December 7th. D-Day celebrates the Allied forces' invasion of France's Normandy coast on June 6th, 1944. June 6th, leading to an eventual victory over Nazi Germany. That's a far cry from December 7th, which is memorialized annually on December 7th as Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. Anyway, whatever. Today is D-Day. This is who they are. Whatever. They suck. They suck at life and history. So, here's one other thing, but it's whatever. There's a few asides. It's not really an aside, but did you see that the January 6th Capitol police officers were honored with congressional gold medals, and of course the family of Brian Sicknick didn't shake the hands of Moscow Mitch McConnell or the Tracy Flick of the Republicans, otherwise known as Mitch McConnell, not Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy. And rightfully so. They shouldn't have. Why are you going to shake their hands? They're still involved with the coup. They're still kissing the ass of the leader of the coup that got their son killed. But the other thing was that Officer Fanone said that the Metropolitan D.C. police at the medal ceremony mocked him and called him a disgrace. So a former Metropolitan D.C. police officer who was hospitalized after defending the Capitol on January 6th was heckled by ex-colleagues while attending the Congressional Gold Medal award ceremony at the Capitol. The Congressional Gold Medal is the highest award from Congress. It expresses national appreciation for distinguished achievements and contributions by individuals and or an institution. The day was filled with drama as the late Capitol Police officer Brian Sicknick's mother, and others refused to shake hands with the two scumbags and who I just mentioned. And Michael Fanone, a former police officer who responded to the riot and later resigned, was jeered when he was recognized. During the riot on January 6, Fanone was knocked unconscious and suffered other injuries. He wasn't required to be at work that day, but responded to the call for backup. Then, along with other officers, he was attacked by the mob. Fanone was hospitalized for his injuries, including from a stun gun. Unbelievable. And I saw pictures of Michael Fanone in the hospital, and, he looked not too good. Fanone's experience with his former co-workers was shared on Twitter. Members of the Metropolitan Police Department Special Operations Division heckled Officer Michael Fanone at the Congressional Gold Medal ceremony, as reported by Ryan Kelly of the NBC. Fanone's old co-workers called him a disgrace and criticized him because he wasn't a cop anymore. And Fanone told Riley that he said he didn't belong at the ceremony. Fanone told the Washington Post that he has been criticized since he started speaking out about the riot. He told Peter Herman of the Washington Post that he didn't bring his family to the ceremonies where he is honored so as not to subject them to what he knows he will experience. And because everywhere he goes now, he's being jeered by these fucking traitors. And I have to say, the reason I'm bringing it up is because are these fuckers still on the job? They need to be fired. They need to be weeded out. You know, they're traitors. These are traitors. So why are they protected? I mean, there are traitors in law enforcement. We know that, right? I mean, I'm not saying anything out of the ordinary here. There are some FBI who are sympathetic to the Trumpanzee traitor cause. They need to be weeded out of the service. Same thing, like, you know, in the military. There's not supposed to be, you can't be a white supremacist and be in the military. I know that Republicans are probably shocked by that. They're probably, it's probably something that Perjury Trader Green should take up as a cause, because she's very pro-Nazi and feels like the most picked on person or group of people in the country are Nazis. The most targeted as political prisoners are traitors. Right? All the traitors are being treated so horribly, supposedly, by them. They need to be weeded out. This is a problem. So after the exchange was posted publicly, former counterintelligence officer for the FBI, Frank Figluzzi, slammed the other police officers during an MSNBC interview, saying, "This is a real disgrace. The issue is the culture that still continues at the police department in the District of Columbia. These were true heroes honored for fighting for democracy. If the Special Operations Division don't understand what a hero is and don't understand what it means to fight for democracy, they need to find another job. They can start with the donut shop they hang out at every morning, and they can apply for jobs there." But yeah, great, words, but what's going to happen? Is something going to happen to these fucking bastards? Apparently they mocked Fanon and they slow clapped saying, "Yeah, real fucking hero." Really? That's kind of disturbing to me, I think, because yeah, real fucking hero. He's a fucking hero. He's a real hero. I'm not surprised that right-wingers would be confused about this. I'm trying to find a picture. I saw this picture of him in the hospital. Let's see if I can find it. But, I mean, we don't have to see. We've seen... Oh, here. I found it. That's not it. What am I in? Chrome. Here we go. Yeah, there he is. In the hospital. Looking a little worse for the wear. Where were these fucking guys? Unbelievable. But this is part of being in this in a country where right wingers have entirely too much power. We don't, as we saw, I don't know if you saw, you probably did, how in Germany they just disrupted a right-wing terrorist QAnon cell. And that's what we have here, these domestic terrorists. They disrupted a QAnon cell that was plotting to overthrow the government. It just reminded me that we don't have a corner market on traitors, right? They're everywhere. Right-wingers are everywhere. They're part of the human condition. They're the dregs that takes them longer to evolve. They eventually, I mean, not all the time, they evolve very slowly. We always have to deal with them. Every generation will deal with them. You just don't give them power. Here, they have not only have power, they have entirely too much power that they don't deserve, they didn't earn, they only got by cheating. And they have, thanks to the corporate media and Bill Clinton and Ronald Reagan's ending the Fairness Doctrine and the Telecommunications Act, they have entirely too much of a platform for their filth, for their Nazi filth. So you don't give them power. Yeah, any country, all over the world. Show me a right-wing country that is successful. Show me a country where show me a fascist country that's where people, are happy and productive and modern and contributing to the world. Anybody? Right? That's the thing about progressivism and conservatism in general, because conservatives, it doesn't matter how many times you have to point out how ineffective, their policies. They're effective if you want to concentrate wealth and power at the top. If that's your ultimate goal, you're conservative. That's your conservative, right? But if you are delusional and think that conservatism is somehow a path to having a modern democratic republic that works for everyone, show me where that happens. Certainly not. It doesn't happen here. It can't. It hasn't happened here. Conservatives, show me a country where that's run in a conservative way, and where, everything I'm saying. When the greatest generation, right? The Republicans love to talk about the greatest generation. The greatest generation were socialists. They lived in a country where we had a 90% top marginal tax rate. They voted for FDR's socialist New Deal in 4 landslide elections. They fought fascism. They didn't enable it here at home and embolden it. They didn't invite fascists to dinner. And make excuses or call to suspend the Constitution. I mean, they didn't, they lived in obviously we had a long way to go. I'm talking mostly about, of course, the white working class benefited from the New Deal, which people who had darker pigment weren't privy to many of the aspects of the New Deal. And that was deliberate. That was because they couldn't sell it otherwise. They couldn't get the Southern Dixiecrats to vote for it if it included everyone. But still, okay, putting it aside in a way that says, like now, if that's the problem that Republicans have with our society, that's why they want to drag it down and destroy it. Because the more we get to a country, or at least, we take those steps, those baby steps towards a country that works for everyone of all pigments and all the human condition and all its diversity, they fucking can't handle it. And they'd rather rip the whole thing up. And they're not going to start over. They'll just wrap their bullshit around the veneer of legitimacy. by giving it a name. You know, just like the name this time, what we're talking about is the independent state legislature theory. This bull fucking shit that has been tried. I mean, this is what Republicans do, you know? They wrap their shit in the veneer, they give it a name, like intelligent design. It's not creationism, it's intelligent design. Like, it's on par with evolution. So we must teach about. It's, evolution. We could see the evidence, the practical evidence, the empirical evidence of evolution all over the world, all in all species, and here it is all broken down. But no, it's on par. We must consider this other fucking thing called, it's not creation, it's science, because it's called intelligent design. So it's a guy. It's one dude on a cloud, and it's a guy, of course. It's a man. It's got a penis, a giant penis. And it made everything. See? It's fantasy, but anyway. And that's what they do. They wrap it in the veneer of legitimacy by giving it a name. This independent state legislature theory. And what else? The, supply side economics. When that first was trotted out, Republicans themselves, Pappy Bush, called it voodoo economics, because it's bullshit. Voodoo meaning it's, you got some fucking magic you need to share. It's because it's bullshit. Everybody from the time of awareness, from the time of the fact that of consciousness, understood that an economy runs on supply and demand. You know, there's no demand, fuck your supply. So we can't have that, because that makes people they get too much power to the people there. So we got to make the supply, and we're going to make it seem like you just keep making more supply. And by making more supply, doesn't matter if no one has a goddamn dime to their name, it's all going to be great. Because all that supply is going to mean that something will trickle on you. And then you'll be able to buy. You'll be able to be you'll be trickled on. I don't know. Which the whole thing, I mean, as far as trickle down, is the entire thing is offensive. It's not even a glass of water. It's just a trickle. It's not a wave. It's a trickle. A trickle? A trickle is like, it's not even enough to wet your whistle. Here's a trickle. Beep, beep. I got the whole fucking ocean here, but here's a trickle, you fucking flea. Whatever. Anyway. But this is what they're doing now, and everybody's talking about it all over. Everybody's talking about it because this is, why. This is the plan. This is what Republicans learned from losing this last election. They also know that if they weren't able to gerrymander, they would have lost the House too. There's no doubt. Everybody knows it. They know it. So this is what they learned. They gotta pump up. They gotta put the plan to destroy democracy. They gotta put that pedal to the metal, man. It ain't happening fast enough. They can't undermine it fast enough. They need the full tilt boogie effect of conservative bullshit blaring out across all their propaganda channels, and we will wrap this shit, the shit sandwich you're shoving down America's throat. We'll put this in the veneer of legal legitimacy. Leave that up to us on the corrupt Supreme Court. Leave that up to the beer bong Brett, the filthy fascist liars, the perjurers, the all the ones where, with the mysterious debt disappearing and the handmade lifestyle, who couldn't wait till her predecessor's body was cold or even buried. That bitch couldn't fucking wait. She literally climbed over a corpse that was not even in the ground yet. That's what Amy Coney, bitchface, handmade in the cult Barrett did when Moscow Mitch called her up and said, "Hey, bitch, Miss Barrett, do you want to be in my coup against the highest judiciary, the three branches of government, blah blah blah, that we learn about? Do you want to be in the coup against? We got the presidency. Well, that fucked up. We had the presidency, but we're going to we have it. While we still have it and people are voting, and the dumb RGB, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she died. Hey, yay. So you great Christian as you are in your handmaid capacity, I know you want to fuck the American people royally and destroy them and kill women in back alleys and shit. I know you want to do that. And I also know, as a great Christian, so-called, in a cult, you have no honor or integrity, and will say yes when I call and say, "Hey, you want to be in my coup? Hop in. We're doing a coup. Come on." And yeah, because they have no honor. It's about power. Never mind. Look at who they put up. Amy Coney Barrett, who was on the bench. These are all they're all calculated moves. It's not like she's this legal scholar that has such an impressive resume. This is the thing with these Republicans. Now compare her to Ketanji Brown Jackson, right? Who, on the opposite end of the spectrum, someone, because she's got darker pigment, she's got to be a stellar, incredible resume that had more experience and more judicial acumen and everything, than all of the conservatives on the court combined. And that's who she is. But the Republicans, they had to, what happened when the con man was proposing the I like beer, Justice I like beer. Ketanji was on, not Ketanji, Amy Coney, handmade bitchface Barrett, was on the list, and they put the kibosh on her because they said, we're saving her for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You see, that's how they operate. They need to be very calculating in there. It's like the same thing with what happened in Georgia. They needed somebody with darker pigment. Oh shit, sounded like there was an accident that almost happened outside. But no crash, so that's good. So I just heard, I don't know if you heard it, but it scared me. I was scared for a minute. But anyway, yeah. So Amy, that's why I hate them, and I wish that the Democrats, if they're listening, please take my advice. And whenever you discuss the Supreme Court, you must start saying illegitimate Supreme Court. And if you discuss Amy Coney bitch face, resting bitch face, handmaid Barrett, you say the illegitimate Amy Coney bitch face, resting bitch face Barrett, handmaid. Okay? And illegitimate beer bong Brett, illegitimate Gorsuch, the illegitimate, all of them. They were all illegitimate. Every single one after that Moscow Mitch shoved onto the court are illegitimate. They have no business being there. That's for sure. So but this is what the Republicans do. They learn from this, especially this election. You know, they haven't cooed enough, right? That's what they learned. It's not that they haven't appealed to the right, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. They're going to still target the racists, the white racists, telling them, you're the one, you're under attack, white man. That's what they actually believe that. And they've done studies or whatever, polls with these mothers. And they've said, who's the most discriminated against? What group is the most discriminated? And the Republicans say white men are the most discriminated against part of society. Isn't that funny? But funny, I mean, wow. Where do you live? And of course, it's coming from people who. Where the fuck do they live? Exactly. They live they don't even live in a 50-mile radius of somebody with darker pigment. And they're like, I'm so discriminated against because I saw it on Fox News. They said I was being replaced. They're replacing me. No one's, that's the other thing that they don't, oh, God, replacing. How are you being replaced? I wish. You need to be replaced. That's the thing. If there's something that will get you replaced, let me in on it. Because you got to be replaced, man. But no, what happens when somebody becomes a citizen, that's not replacing you. That just means there's somebody else voting. Are you being replaced? Oh, you feel like you're losing power. I get it. Because without your privilege, you will have to work? We'll all figure out how inadequate you are, but we already know. That's the secret. I wish, if they just accepted it, that we already know how inadequate they are, then it's like, oh, okay, take the Band-Aid off. The worst has happened. And now can we get on with it, with life, in a constitutionally limited democratic republic nation of immigrants, right? Okay, where was I? I was looking at this Supreme Court. And then we're going to do one more story. Among other tirades. I got to do some more tirades. That's the other thing I need to do. Okay, conservative court. Here's, remember I used to do the tirades on Progressive Voices? I just haven't had the time to do them. And I don't know, if you listen to Progressive Voices, I need to do them. Because they need more content on there. Do I have to hear that fucking commercial every day? Your daughter doesn't want to talk about her new haircut. Your son doesn't want to know why he's wearing Moscow Mitch mismatched socks. every goddamn break? Do we have to hear that? It's because they don't have anything else to play. And then they even sometimes will play the first few chords of it. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to hit, mute because I'm sick of it. And then it's like a tease. They psych you out. Your daughter doesn't want to talk about, or is it your wife doesn't want to talk about why her bad haircut. Your son doesn't want to talk about his mismatched socks. Those are the sound effects. But you should talk about what to do in an emergency. Brought to you by... Does anybody know what I'm talking about? If you listen to progressive voices, you will know. Okay. Make sure my tirades are profane. They will be. They will be. They have to be. They always were. I gotta do it. There's so many things I gotta do. That's why you gotta become a patron or something. Come on, guys. Help me out here. Help a bitch out. Okay. Supreme Court's most where is this? Oh, fuck. Oh, brother. I can't believe what I've done. I hit the wrong button. Okay. Let's see. This is from Slate. The Supreme Court's most conservative justices got humiliated on Wednesday. By Mark Joseph Stern. After 3 hours of oral arguments at the Supreme Court on Wednesday, only one thing is certain. If the justices want to blow up federal elections, they will have nothing to hide behind. Not history, not logic, and certainly not the Constitution. Well, they don't care. That's their job. Their job is to fix the facts around the policy, and they'll just come up with some fucking loose, flimsy excuse, and all the maggots will eat it up like they're eating Trump's farts, which they love to eat. The three lawyers defending democracy methodically dismantled the independent state legislature theory from every conceivable angle, debunking each myth, misreading, and misrepresentation deployed to prop it up. They bested the conservative justices, who tried to corner them, identifying faulty reasoning and bogus history with devastating precision. Oh, it won't matter, because they are fixing the facts around the policy. Those of us who've been ringing the alarm over this dangerous theory and who've been disgusted by the campaign to drag it from the far-right fringe all the way to the Supreme Court can take solace that these capable lawyers exposed it as an utter fraud. This idea was at the center of Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election, so it was a relief to hear 5 justices sound deeply skeptical that it has any basis in the Constitution. Uh-oh. I see what's going on behind me. Tara Jr. has awoke. He is woke. Where's he going? Uh-oh. He's coming over. Fuck. Oh, shit. I think he's coming over. Don't look him in the eye. He's coming. What is he doing? Oh, I see you. All right. Yep, we know. Can you hear him? Guess who's back? Ba-da-da. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Do-do-do. Bump, bump. Do-do-do. Bump, bump. Do-do-do. Bump, bump. Tara Jr. is back. He is back. He is back from sleeping. Boo, boo, boo. Did you have a nice 15-hour nap? What did you dream of? Just stay like that. And stop biting. Do not bite my hands. Okay. Though, let's see. Where was I? So this idea was at the center of Trump's, where was I? Efforts to overturn the 2020 election. So it was a relief to hear 5 justices sound deeply skeptical. Okay, it's far too early to celebrate the demise of the independent state legislature theory since 4 justices have already endorsed it. But the skepticism it faced at argument suggests that democracy has a fighting chance. If Wednesday's case, Moore versus Harper, is new to you, prepare to be startled by how ridiculous it is. Right. Well, this is all they have. The petitioners are Republican leaders of the North Carolina legislature. They are angry that the North Carolina Supreme Court struck down the congressional map that they drew after the 2020 census, which was objectively an extreme partisan gerrymander. The court found that the map violated various provisions, of the North Carolina Constitution, including a guarantee that all elections be free. There was nothing unusual about this decision. It is a bedrock principle of federalism that state courts have final authority over the meaning of state constitutions. Other courts, including the Supreme Courts of Florida and Pennsylvania, have issued similar decisions invalidating congressional districts, and the SCOTUS did not get involved. But North Carolina Republicans decided to use this case to achieve a broader GOP ambition, the revival of a long discredited doctrine known as the independent state legislature theory, or ISLT. ISLT? ISLT. This theory rests on the Constitution's Elections Clause, which says that times, places, and manner of federal elections shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. It posits that this clause frees the state legislature from restraints imposed by the Constitution when regulating federal elections. So you could just make shit up. Every partisan, wish can come true now. You could just make shit up. You can have, I don't know, if there's no laws, and everything is, just rammed through by these fucking freaks. That's really what it's about. It's anytime if a Republican. If there is a Republican legislature, like their dream, there will only ever be a Republican elected in that state because they will so rig the elections in such a partisan fashion that there'll be nothing restraining them. There'll be nothing. You will have no recourse to this. And it's completely laughable and extremely dangerous, but that's why they're, 4 of them are already in with it, and that's because they hate democracy. You understand? That's why they don't bat an eye when their con man standard bearer says we need to suspend the Constitution. They're on board with this shit. So specifically, it would prevent the state courts from enforcing restraints when the legislature passes a law that violates the Constitution. The usual checks and balances of the state lawmaking does not apply because the U.S. Constitution gives the power over the manner of these elections exclusively. That's the argument that the Supreme Court considered and rejected in Bush v. Gore. A young Bush lawyer named Brett Kavanaugh was especially enamored of it. It's the argument that Trump deployed when he tried to nullify millions of votes in 2020. And it's the argument that Jenny Thomas, wife of Justice Uncle Clarence Thomas relied upon when lobbying state legislators to appoint alternate electors, otherwise known as fake electors, who would support Trump. And to be fair, it has some superficial appeal. Its proponents like to say legislature means legislature, and that's the end of it. That's because they see that they can't win elections and they don't want to win elections by appealing to the voter. They hate the voter. They hate the people. They just want power. And if this means that this will eliminate, some barrier to their power, they're all for it. So we'll see what happens there. And there you go. I'm not going to go read the whole thing because I'm looking at the time. And I do want to talk about one more thing. How's everybody doing? Just checking in. Washing the paw. Winston on the chat. Talking about Tara Jr. Look at how cute he is. Look at him. You know what he's looking at? He's looking at my hand. He's like, why isn't this hand petting me? Right? Let's see. He's a good boy. Don't eat the camera, Junior. Come on, just sit. I'm trying to put him in a good position for the camera, but he keeps moving. Okay. Washing the paw. Bum, bum. Breaking the law. That should be Trump's theme song. Breaking the law. All right. Come on, Junior. You're such a tease. You keep knocking shit over. People just want to look at your cute face. Your cute face. Put it in the camera's line of fire. You son of a bitch. Now you're biting me. I don't like that part. All right, let's see. I used to love Judas Priest. I mean, I guess I still like them. I've seen Judas Priest in concert when I was a youngin'. When I was a young rock and roller. Breaking the law. Hey. I had to do it. I had to put them back. All right, one last story for tonight. I don't know. I was thinking about it's. I don't know if you guys saw that Ted Cruz's daughter tried. We think. She harmed herself, and I'm not saying ha 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 ha. I'm pointing this out because of the contrast in. Just to highlight the difference between Republicans and Democrats. You see, when I saw this, so here we go. Here, let's read the story. The other thing is, this is a 14-year-old. She's obviously, in angst. She recently came out. She's only 14, but she came out of on TikTok or something as bisexual. She said she's bisexual. So, I don't know. She's a young person. And imagine she could be fully gay. I don't know. I always think that being bi is just one step on the train to full-blown gay, right? I was bi for a while. because I thought like being half a dyke would be more palatable. You know what I mean? It'd be easier for others to accept me. It was really me, of course. I had to I didn't know, but I grew up in a different time. You know, that we didn't have any gay straight alliances at school or things like that. But anyway, if she's bi, she's bi. Good for her. And when was this? She came out as bisexual. Let me see. Where was this? I feel bad for her, really. Could you imagine you're gay and you're a member of the LGBTQ community and your father is Ted Cruz, a piece of dirt who hates gays, who I don't know what he feels about gays, actually. I don't know about it, if he hates. He uses gay people as a political whipping post and has a long history of attacking the gay community and voting against gay rights. He recently voted against solidifying same PP marriage, right? Because that's what it's all about. It's the freedom to form a legal contract with someone of the same PP. Because Republicans are all about freedom, you know. But it depends on your PP. That's the freedom is in direct proportion to what PP you have. If you have the same PP, you will not form a legal contract. You will not have the freedom to choose whether you want to form a contract. That's what it is. Let's see. Comes out. I'm just trying to look when she came out. I guess I should have had that ready, but oh well. This is Tarabuster. You got to become a patron to get more production value over here. Let's see. It looks like it was in January. Anti-gay Ted Cruz's daughter is bisexual and disagrees with most of his views. One of the daughters of anti-gay LGBTQ U.S. Senator Ted Cruz has come out as bisexual, and she said she disagrees with her father's Republican politics. Of course she does, if she has any self-esteem at all. In a viral video shared to TikTok, which has been set to private, Caroline Cruz discussed life as a senator's daughter. A lot of people judge me based upon him at first glance, but I really disagree with most of his views. Cruz revealed the benefits that she and her sister enjoy, such as getting candy and gifts in the mail. We also get to travel, she said. However, she noted that the safety issues she faced with security personnel following her everywhere. Like, if I want to go on a walk in the neighborhood or to my friend's house or something, I have to have 2 security guards behind me the entire time. Cruz also claimed that her outfit in the family's latest Christmas card was edited by her father's media team. Cruz said she wore a crop top, but the final photo was her in a knit shirt. Fucking bastards. They changed her shirt. They literally made my shirt longer, she said. After people identified her as the daughter of Ted Cruz, social media users started screenshotting Caroline Cruz's profile, which noted her pronouns as she and her, as well as bi. When someone asked her about her sexuality, Cruz suggested that her famously anti-gay father would support her. I haven't told him yet. I'm kind of nervous, to be honest, she said, but I don't think he would be mad. Poor thing. Shortly after her account went viral, amassing more than 17,000 followers and 51,000 likes, she set her account to private. Ted Cruz has repeatedly attacked gay rights and LGBTQ people during his time in Congress. In a speech last year at the conservative political conference CPAC, he ranted about gay men French kissing. Because, what, he wasn't in on it or something? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, they got nothing, guys. They got fucking nothing. Where's your plan for inflation? All they got is make everybody crazy and turn them against each other. Who ranting about French gay men? Oh, no, not French gay men. Gay men French kissing and trans women, of course. What a disgusting bunch of fucking people, really, you know? At least they do us one favor by all amassing in one filthy party so we can point them out and say, what the hell? Yeah, what did he say? A 17-minute long speech. He mocked safety protocols for the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, because, 1 million dead was just not enough. And because that's the other thing. Republicans aren't happy unless they're making Americans prematurely dead. They like that. They get very excited about it. And what else? He said he expressed skepticism about shutdowns imposed by larger states like New York and California. Expressing a skepticism about actions taken to shut down public park or limit numbers of people allowed to attend religious services. Jesus Christ. So he said, we see Bill de Blasio in New York sending people to shut down parks and throw young Orthodox Jews out of the park because, God forbid, children have fun. Oh, fuck you. Yeah, that's why. Someone's having fun. That's you, honey. That's you. You send people to bars with assault weapons when they're having fun, Ted. And then he says, you can French kiss the guy next to you yelling, abolish the police, and no one will get infected. But if you go to church and say amazing grace, everyone will die. I hate them. I hate them. Oh my God. You see what I'm saying? Is there anything, do they bring anything to the table? Is there anything that a Ted Cruz has done? All right, how am I saying this? Is this phrased correctly? Has Ted Cruz ever done a thing for this country? Has he? What has he contributed to America? You know what he's done? He's certainly feathered his own nest. But has he offered a fucking thing to this society? Has he contributed? Don't worry. That's the thing that's the Republican way. Don't ever expect a Republican to add value or anything to society. They never add to society. All they do is add this shit. They just pour poison into society. They poison. They poison the people. They poison everything. They don't add. They take away. They suck as much as they can and fatten themselves up like a bunch of parasites while spewing poison into people's ears and into the society at large. Forget coming together in a crisis. They wouldn't do a fucking thing. They wouldn't pull a hair to save one life in this country. They couldn't even put a piece of cloth on their stupid faces for a minute. While a million dead, a million people will grieve. We'll spend another holiday without somebody because of these motherfuckers. Oh, and you can't go to church and say amazing. What do you want to say? Go say amazing grace in your closet, Ted. You know? Like your Jesus, like the Jesus you pretend to worship told you. I don't understand how these people pretend to worship Jesus, but they never take his direction. How can you say you're a Christian when you do the exact opposite of what the Jesus you pretend to worship told you to do? I don't see any of them doing what Jesus fucking told them to do. Even in the smallest of terms. Okay, yeah, you're a greedy little fuck. You will not give up your earthly goods, your earthly rewards, and go follow your Savior. I guess you don't really believe in him. You can't, you're too weak. You can't do it. But at least, the least you could do is pray in your closet. How hard is that? That's what he told you to do. Don't pray in the middle of the street, in the square where everybody could see you, because that's, you're doing it for show. Pray in your closet, I tell you, and then let's see your works. Let's see Jesus in action in your works, right? Oh, but the only religious obligation, that's a holy obligation to Republicans, is gay bashing. Gay bashing is that is the sacrament. All right. He's trying to get back up. I was trying to block him from coming up. And he was crying about it. He's like, meh, let me up there. I need to bite your hand. Will you purr for the people? Please. Yes, I agree. 100%. Let me see, Junior. Look over here. Look here. Is Ted Cruz a Christian? What do you think? No, I agree. He is not. He is not. He is not. So, yeah, so it has to be, you can French kiss the guy next to you yelling, abolish the police. It's like, what, like every, what is this, the Mad Libs speech? You can French kiss the guy next to you yelling, abolish the police, while, put in all of the buzzwords. Republicans. But if you say go to church, yeah, everyone's going to die. Not everyone, honey. Just 1 million. Just over 1 million. Just being the most abhorrent, disgraceful number of all developed nations. So, okay. But that's fine with Republicans. They like being the most in all the worst policies, right? That's America's not number one in anything that's worthy, right? We're not number one in life expectancy. We're number one in the declining life expectancy. We're not number one in. Well, we're number one in the uniquely American medical bankruptcies, and we're number one in all kinds of horrible things you don't want to be number one in. Not certainly not number one in decency. We're number one in coups. Not many democratic countries around the world are in the midst of a coup, but that, yes, we're number one. We're number one in massacres. Yeah. Number one in school number one in allowing kids to be massacred while in second grade class, where they have to be identified through DNA. They can't even be identified. You understand that they can't even be identified through dental records because they've been so mutilated by things that Republicans love, hate, and they also love everyone having an assault weapon. They certainly don't love Jesus. I wonder what Jesus would say about that. But, this is all for the dupes. I don't know. I really don't get how these people who call themselves Christian aren't insulted by Republicans, by the fact that they adopt, that they so use them as dupes, that they claim to be Christian while being the Antichrist. Oh my God. In 2020, the New York Times reported that 60% of women named Karen voted for Joe Biden. What the fuck? This is what they say. You understand? This is who they are. Give me an example of a Democrat giving a speech like this. They don't. They're not up to, 20% of Republicans like to lick their own balls. But they don't. They can. They'd rather lick Trump's balls. Bump. Yeah. They got nothing. No, because Democrats are out there. You know what? We're going to make insulin $35 for all. And you know what Republicans say? No, we're not. You're going to make it for none. How about you make it for none? And then they're like, oh, fuck. Well, I guess we'll just make it for the ones we can make it for. And then the Republicans are like, fuck. They did something. Well, guess what? There's a bunch of gay guys over here, and there's trans people, and now somebody's having a drag show, and here's some weapons, and 60% of people named Karen are voting for Democrats, so that means you're not a Karen, are you? What the fuck is this? Do they ever have a policy? Anyway, that was part of his speech. Well, we were talking about his daughter, so let's see. And here it is. This is when she came out. Shortly after her account went viral, then she made her profile private. Ted Cruz has repeatedly attacked LGBTQ rights and people during his time in Congress. The French... the gay men French kissing and transgender women, that's their new targets. New/old, same old. He also attacked, the U.S. Army, claiming, because they're so anti-American, they hate America. Everything about America sucks, you see. They love Russia. They think they want to masturbate to right into Putin's face. They love him. They love propaganda where men are looking like all pumped up. Right? The reality is a bit different, of course. Yeah, but they're so easily swayed by fantasies and bullshit. It's like the fantasy, like how Trump is a successful billionaire or successful anything. He's a successful businessman. That's another fantasy. They're so taken by. So they are enamored of shiny objects. Claiming that the woke media was trying to turn the military into pansies. Because, what the fuck does he know about the military? These people haven't served a day in their life. They use the military like they use eagles and stars, right? They put red, white, and blue shit on, and they say USA. It's the same thing. They use the military as cartoons, like a cartoonish fucking bunch of pawns to take a picture in front of and then discard. They don't vote for veterans' benefits. Oh yeah, they stand in the way when veterans come home with traumatic brain injuries or they're sick because they were stationed next to these burn pits. Ted Cruz gives a fucking fist bump when he votes against that. Well, he hates the military. He hates America. Pansies. Oh my God. Meanwhile, we know Ted Cruz, what does he do in a crisis? He packs where? He's not packing for to come to help his constituents. He's like, honey, I'm not going to be home for days. I'm out there helping the community. He's packing to go to a fucking resort in Cancun. Yeah. Because he's not a pansy, right? That's not what pansies do. That's what real men do. They don't fuck off to Cancun, right? That's what real men do. They go to Cancun and let the actual real men face up to the responsibilities of the chaos and the problems they create. Okay. During his failed campaign for the president in 2016, Cruz attempted to deflect criticism about his own homophobia, saying ISIS is executing homosexuals. You want to talk about gay rights? Yeah. You want to talk about gay rights here because they're fucking getting killed by ISIS? Those are the choices. We're either being executed by ISIS or you're what? You're like Harvey Milk now, Ted Cruz? Because you're not calling for the execution of gays? Well, some of your Republican co-conspirators are. We know that for a fact. I'm sure if I Google it right now, it's ringing a bell. Let's see. Republican calls for execution of gays. Let's see what comes up. Oh, yeah. All right. I knew it. Here we go. August 2022. GOP candidate says it is totally just to kill gay people. Republican candidate running for a seat in Oklahoma's state house said it is totally just to kill gay people. Scott Esk is running to represent Oklahoma's 87th House District, which includes parts of Oklahoma City. Yes. He is set to face whatever. The comments resurfaced last year in a Facebook comment thread. And yeah. That's just one. There's others. Here we go. This is not all this is all new shit too. GOP candidate, where is it? Texas GOP's new platform calls gay people abnormal and rejects trans identities, of course. GOP lawmaker Mike Hill is slammed for joking about killing gays. I mean, it's a laundry list. Yeah. GOP, let's see. He said, gay people are worthy of death. Yeah, there you go. So this is what we're dealing with. So where was I? During, wait. During his failed presidential campaign, Cruz courted several anti-LGBTQ religious leaders and even met with Kim Davis. Remember her? The Kentucky clerk who went to jail for contempt of court after refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples to cement his image as a conservative culture warrior against, you got to be against your fellow Americans if you're a Republican, because you hate America. You want America to die, just like the millions who died of COVID. He appeared along with several other prospective presidential candidates at the National Religious Liberties Conference, an event organized by far-right pastor Kevin Swanson, who defended the existence of laws imposing capital punishment for homosexual relations. And that's somebody that really wants to be held by a big, strong man. There's no doubt. If that's really, if that's your thing, you're in the closet, and we got the science to back it up. If you would only get help, then the world would be a better place. But then you wouldn't be a Republican. Cruz also previously decried Obama. The Obama administration's guidance advising schools to respect the gender identity of transgender students. In 2015, in two separate interviews, Cruz invoked bathroom panic, or the idea that transgender people pose a threat to women and children in restrooms. And it's always, you're under attack. And do you know who gets attacked in restrooms? Trans people. They're the ones being attacked. These motherfuckers. Not the other way around. But that's what they do. From every fascist throughout history. That's what they do. They lie. They spread hate against a targeted group. And they don't give a shit who dies. Who gets hurt. Who suffers. They never bring a thing to the table. They just take and take and take, and they manipulate the easily led, the ones who are already filled with hate. They don't encourage them like their savior, like the person they say they worship as a savior. They don't follow the savior's advice and help anybody, understand anybody, try to love them. They attack. They want other people attacking other people. This is like, that's their thing. If you're attacking others, if you're attacking trans people, you're not attacking them at the top while they're up there like little fucking demons. Like on the gremlins, like stuffing their pockets in the halls of power. Little fucking demons. That's what they remind me of. Because you're too busy beating up or attacking someone in a bathroom. Like that bitch. Oh my God. Did we talk about this on the show? There was some bitch. And you talk about a Karen. That's who they are. A Karen is a state of being. It's not a person's name. I know plenty of normal Karens. It's an insult. And they're not Republicans. They're normal. But that bitch that attacked a girl, a cis girl, in the bathroom because she thought that this cis girl was trans. because she had a short haircut. Can you believe that shit? They were in a casino or something, and the bitch was like, "Oh, find your own bathroom. Wait, call security." Bitch. That is a dirtbag with nothing better to do. Just ruining. You know, you go to a casino. What are you doing? You want to have some fun, and then you gotta fucking come into the path of this bitch, this dumb bitch, who is on the pee-pee patrol in the bathroom, ruining everyone's time. Call security. There's someone with a short haircut in the bathroom. God damn you. Oh, but yeah, you're under attack, lady, right? Oh, I hate them. Oh my God. Well, let's see what else. Cruz invoked the bathroom panic or idea that trans people pose a threat to women and children in restrooms, of course, while ranting about the Department of Education ruling that found that an Illinois school district discriminated against a transgender girl by barring her from the locker room. Yeah, because, you know, that's what Republicans do too. They want that little girl to kill herself. So that's a successful day for them. Yeah, if there's a trans child who needs love and understanding, and they're met with Republican ignorance and hate. Right? They're living in a society filled with Republican ignorance and hate. And all it takes is a little love and understanding. And everybody can go about their fucking day. But not these Republicans. Look, these guys are so nutty that the federal government is going after school districts, trying to force them to let boys shower with little girls. No one is doing that, you dumb, horrible person, Cruz. Because it's not a boy showering with the girl. You pee-pee twisted cretin. Ted Cruz told YouTuber and conservative activist Steven Crowder, that's what he told him, another upstanding fascist. Now listen, he said, I'm the father of 2 daughters. God help them. And the idea that the federal government is coming in and saying that boys with all the God-given equipment of boys, oh yeah, we know what you're thinking, Cruzy. You want to see Hunter Biden's pee-pee. Given with all the equipment of boys can be in the shower room with girls? This is lunacy. Oh my God. Will you evolve? Will these fuckers just shut up? Ever? Do they ever shut their ignorant holes? That's another question I have. I know there's a lot of questions coming. Anyway, that's just the background of Ted Cruz's bisexual 14-year-old daughter who tried to harm herself, which I feel bad for. And I'm not, the reason I'm bringing it up. And I want to say thank you, Roy, for your super chat. Thank you so much for keeping the show going and growing. I can't do it without you. I mean it. But, okay, so when I heard that Ted Cruz's daughter was taken to the hospital for self-inflicted harm or whatever she did. I think she cut her wrist or something, which is horrible. But I had to ponder, if this were the daughter of a Democrat, what would the reaction be? How long would it be until Republicans started with the jokes, right? Or the Get the fuck out of here, Tara Jr. You're bothering me. He's fucking biting my hands. I love him, but I can't with the biting of the hands when I'm trying to work over here. And then he's all pissed off now. He'll get over it. But how long would it take for the Republicans to with the jokes and the conspiracy theories, and maybe she didn't slice her own, she didn't harm herself. Maybe Ted Cruz harmed her and then tried to cover it up because he was in the middle of trying to, whatever it might be. It was some pedophile ring. He was trying to recruit her for the Republican pedophile ring in the pizzeria basement that doesn't have a basement, or of the pizzeria. Right? How long would it be? Or the conspiracy theories, or the Halloween costumes. How long would it be until we saw Twitter posts from, let's say, Hunter Biden, right? Like we saw from Donald Trump fucking Jr., Traitor Tot, when he posted his Halloween costume was Paul Pelosi, right? It was a hammer and underwear. Ha 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 ha. The guy's still in the hospital with a cracked skull. But, ha ha. And you know who else laughed and laughed about all of the spread conspiracy theories about Paul Pelosi's attack? Ted Cruz. He said, let's see, Ted Cruz is facing backlash on social media after retweeting a conspiracy theory about the recent attack on U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband. On Monday, the senator retweeted a series of social media posts by right-wing political commentator Matt Walsh. You know him, What is a Woman? The fucking transphobe, most likely closet case, self-loathing scum, POS. Ugh. That cast doubt about the San Francisco Police Department's report on the attack. He retweets this. I don't know what the hell happened at Nancy Pelosi's house, and I suspect none of us will never know for sure. Yeah, because there must be lying. But you're lying. Yeah, it's your lies that got that man attacked. It's your lies that sent that fucking nut job to someone's house with a hammer, with the intent to kill the Speaker of the House. Scum. But I do know that trying to paint a hippie nudist from Berkeley as some kind of militant right-winger is absurd and will always be absurd when that's not who this person was. Of course, it doesn't matter. But and he tags it with, this is him retweeting Matt Walsh. He tags it truth, meaning lie. He also posted a screenshot of the Twitter thread, and in which the commentator claimed that the attack on Pelosi's husband was nothing more than a typical San Francisco crime story. Jesus Christ. Trying to turn this San Francisco crime story into an indictment of Republicans is what is implausible and ridiculous. Paul Pelosi's attacker, David DePape, had posted alt-right memes and conspiracy theories about COVID-19 vaccines, the 2020 election, and the January 6th insurrection on his social media platforms, which all are regurgitating the same old vomit from the Republican lie holes. Cruz's apparent endorsement of Walsh's conspiracy yarn stands in contrast to the senator's statement on Friday following the attack. At the time, he called the incident horrific. But you can't do that if you're a Republican. It's like going to the Capitol ceremony, that giving out the Congressional Medal to the January 6th police who stood up to the violent Trumpanzee mob, and then going and before and after and every other day in between, kissing Donald Trump's ass and also spreading lies and saying that the January 6th traitors are actually being, they're political prisoners and they're being so mistreated. And we're going to investigate the investigation of January 6th. Wait, stay tuned for that clown show. It's coming. Oh, God. Twitter users pointed out Ted Cruz's hypocrisy. Some blasted the senator for playing his alleged part in egging the violence. Of course. That's what he does. See, they are the domestic terrorists. They're domestic terrorists, but the domestic enemies the founders warned us about. Anyway, so it's not really whatever. The story that, the way I'm discussing it, frankly, is just, it's not about this poor young person trying to harm herself. Poor thing is Ted Cruz's daughter. What the hell? Could you imagine? But it is the Republican hypocrisy. And the other thing is, wait, hold on. You know what happened? I thought I had this article. Because the Democrats were supportive of Ted Cruz, let's say. There were no Democrats tweeting conspiracy theories or Halloween costumes or jokes. So, but that's what you expect. Now, if one did, what do you think would happen? Right? I mean, of course, the Republican outrage machine would fucking go into full effect, because it's okay if a Republican does it. That's really the truth. They got nothing to say about themselves when right? But of course, Democrats didn't do this. None of them did. And if there were any outliers that were like, hey, here's my Ted Cruz daughter Halloween costume, haha, with a knife and whatever, right? I mean, that's what the Republicans would do, and if that happened, the Democrats would all condemn it. That person would be drummed out of the Democratic Party. There is no doubt. So, I don't know. I can't take them. I just can't take them. Anybody? Can you take them? All right. It's time. I can't believe the time. This went by fast. But we will win. You know what? We're going to have a show on Friday. So I want to thank everybody for your super chats. Jim and Stephanie and Ed and Richard and Diffuse OG and Roy. I want to thank everybody for hanging out the last 3 hours. Look at Tara Jr. He's back to sleep. See? Sleeping like a baby. Like a baby that he is. Baby. And, Yeah, we'll be back on Friday at our 8:30 p.m. Oh, yes. Errol, look at you. Folks, let's not forget Tara's birthday is in 3 weeks. I can't believe you remembered that. My birthday is the 27th of December. And I think we're going to have a show that night. I think so. I mean, I'm not doing anything, so fuck it. Let's have a show. My birthday sucks. So let's have a show. Thank you, Robin. What the hell, man? I appreciate it. Thank you for your super chat and that very cute emoji. And thank you, Roy. I saw your emoji. Fist bump right back at you. I know. My birthday is December 27th. So it kind of sucks. And yeah, why not? I think we will have a show that night. It's a Tuesday, I believe, this year. Whoopie doopie. Whoopie doopie. Whoopie. So, yeah. Let's do something on my birthday. Let's get together. Why not? And in the meantime, your birthday's on the 12th, Pookies? Nice. Happy birthday. It's right around the corner. Happy birthday to Pookies. Happy birthday. Where's Ray? Ray, come here, honey. Come here, boo-boo. Such a bastard. Ray. Francis, come here, Frankie. Frank. Honey. We got a special guest star. Francis is here. Happy birthday, Pookies. Happy birthday, Pookies. He wants to smell my mouth. See, it's me. Happy birthday to Pookies. Happy birthday, Pookies. All right, I'll put you down. He wants to be put down. I mean, on the floor. All right. Guys. Remember, we'll be back here on Friday. If you can, become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Also, support our sponsors, APS Radio News. And remember, we will win. That's right. Because guess what? We're on the right side of history. We are. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. We stick together, we win. Remember, my name is Tara Devlin. Guys. I'll see you on Friday night.